Good day traders, this is Master FX Shifu from the Universal Forex Dojo. Before we get started, I'd like to show you guys how our crazy Wushu toolbox works. Now for the purpose of this video, I will use one of our signals sent out on the 2nd of August 2022 right here. Firstly, you'll choose which mode you'll be operating in between the aggressive, standard and hedge mode. Now the difference between these modes is simply how they exit and partial the trades. The most recommended one is ideally the standard mode, which we use all throughout. You will then input your entry price, the stop loss, and the risk that you'd like to risk. Now you will then choose whether you will use market order, pending order, or limit order. Now the most recommended one here is the pending order, which is what I'll be using. Then you click start and that's it. The Wushu will then do the following. It'll wait for price to get into your SL range and place a stop order. In the setup, that's at price 0.83903. Now if you've been following us long enough, you'd know we always use stop orders. We allow the trade to catch us in our direction. The trade then triggered at 0.83865 with a stop loss at 0.83935. Then the trade went on to hit 1R at 0.83796, whereby the Wushu moved the stop to break even. The trade then went on to hit 2R at 0.83726. This is where the Wushu closed 50% of the setup, securing the amount risked on the trade and also moving the stop to 1R. Once price hit 3R at 83645, the Wushu moved the stop to 2R and then keeps on waiting. Now at 4R at 0.83577, the Wushu then moves the stop to 3R. Now this is where the trade retraced back to 3R, where the Wushu closed the remaining 50% of the trade, securing a further 0.75% if you risked 0.5% of the trade. Now this entire trade and management took an entire 5 hours and 40 minutes. Now with the Wushu toolbox, it is a plug and forget tool. You don't have to keep coming in or keep checking up on your charts. Happy trading, guys. Let's get started. Okay, so yesterday we had a pretty good day. We had, let me just check for you guys. I'm just hopping over to my journal. We had 4 setups, and out of the 4, only 2 setups triggered, one hitting a loss, so we lost 0.5% on that one, which is gold. And then the AUD Swiss franc, it hit 4.2R, giving us a 1.25% gain. So for October so far, we are at 4.75% gain. We are still managing it the Wushu way. So do get yourself the Wushu, and let's see what you have for the day today. So as usual, we're going to start with gold, US 100, and of course hop into GJ or Euro USD. Okay, so this was the loss that we suffered yesterday. As you all know how we trigger our setups, price did trigger us in here and then of course went out at that zone, and then we didn't go again for the second trade, so that was a decent simple loss. So we can't really debate that. Once you manage your risk properly, then of course you will enjoy the fruits of the market. Okay, now moving forward for today, I'm just gonna start with the daily, and then we're gonna see what we have here. Okay, so on the daily, we are still working in this area. So I'm still looking at this point right there. We are bearish, as we've discovered on Monday. We are very bearish, so we're still expecting price to actually head to the zone over here at the bottom. Now the question is, where are we going to enter it from? Okay, so just by looking at this alone, I'm going to go deeper into price, and then let me just move this in there. That's my open for the day. I'm going to hop into the 4 hour. Let's see what we have in this region here. Okay, price didn't really come back up to this imbalance here at the top. Okay, this was a win. That was a win. Sorry about that. I usually make the mistake of erasing my marks too soon. And then I did say I'm expecting price to come into this liquidity zone over here and grab that price, grab that liquidity over there at the bottom. So we did have an open right here. That's our open for the day. Price went down first, hitting the zone, taking yesterday's low, or just tapping into it. And okay, sorry, yeah, there we go, just tapping into it right here, of course, and then heading up to the top. And I think this happened just a few hours ago, and we're gonna try find an entry point and see if we can't get a decent move to this high over there, or even this high here. That was our open. So if you can get a decent move into the high, but remember we are overall bearish, so we are gonna try get some liquidity at the top and then tank from there. So I'm just hopping onto the 15 now, and then let's see what we have here. So we did have the break of structure right there. They actually started here. See price going down there. Gonna hop on now even again lower. This is actually gonna be a bit tricky. Let me go back to the hourly. It's gonna be rather tricky to catch it on this way up already, because we're already at the entry price. It would have been ideal to get at the bottom, but we were not watching the markets at the time. We have created the low for the day, and there's a high chances the low for the day. But overall, we are bearish. So hopefully by the end of the week, we would have hit this liquidity at the bottom. So if we do push to the upside, we would expect price to actually come up to this region, or even at that region there. Now the question is, when are we even gonna see it? Because we do have the Asian range right now, the Asian high, Asian low, and of course we came from the Asian low. Now we are targeting the high over there. So this is where now we need to be very, very smart, where we most likely going to attack it. So I think for now, based on what I'm looking at, we're gonna have to wait for price to actually get to this region here and see what it does, or the reaction in there, and then also see what it does in here. So if you do see a bit of a bearish push to the downside from here, we'll of course get in, targeting these lows over here, where it's from, or we'll just have to wait for price to actually react at that zone, and then of course continue to the downside, going for that liquidity at the bottom. So let's see how that's going to work. So until then, for now, we are going to have to be smart. We're going to have to really be smart and not try and fight the market. Let me just remove these. Sorry about that. Just gonna remove those. And the reason why I'm actually heading to the downside, let me just give you guys a bit of an overview on the weekly over here, which is something that you must also take a look at. As you can see, we are bearish. We had a breakout structure right here, and then saw price tank into the downside, and then it started retracing, hitting that order block right there. So right here on this candle here, so expecting it to come down to break this region here, and of course grab the liquidity first. So that's the overall view of why we're thinking, why we are bearish on this instrument. So do keep an eye. Let's keep following it. Let's see what it does. But remember, you want to catch it, or you want to get in at the precise moment. It doesn't make sense for you guys to get on a short and of course have a massive stop loss range, which would really eat up into your profits. So for now, we are going to do something very basic, something very simple. We're going to keep an eye on these two regions. This one right here. Keep an eye on this price point right there, and then keep an eye on this price point right there. So these two regions are very important for us, because this will determine where we short this pair, where we short gold. So let's keep an eye on that and see how far we go. So for now, we don't have a setup on that, which is fine. Let me unmark this one, and then go into US 100. And of course, you always want to start with the daily, see what the daily has in store for us. Yesterday we had not yesterday, 2 days ago, we had a beautiful move price literally just came into our region, picked up the order, and then gave us a 2R, broke that again, and then of course moved up to the top. So that was a decent move over there. Now let's just hop into the daily, and then just mark the days open, and then of course just take a look and see. Just mark that. Let's see where we are and where we're most likely going to head. I remember marking this area as well. I think it was on Monday. There's a likely area where price is heading for the week. So we are bearish for the week because, I mean, we opened here. Price has struggled to head up to closes a massive imbalance here. And then, of course, we're expecting it to hit the downside. Okay, so now where do we catch it? Let's try find out. There was that liquidity grab here, which is what actually gave us an idea for this setup here. I don't know why I didn't mark it as well. Yeah, there was that liquidity grab there, and then after price actually headed to the top. So now, just looking at this, it's still playing in the same area, which is not really ideal. You want to see a bit of price action. You want to see what price what is most likely going to do. We are going down. That's something that we should know. So price heading down here. Let's see what the 30 is looking like. And there's a bit of noise here, so that's also another simple plan to actually avoid. Okay, we are definitely not going to touch that one. Let's take a look at Euro USD. Euro USD, we had this tap into our price point and price retraced, but the way we trade, because we use the wushu, we want price to get into the midpoint of this stop loss range, and of course tank from there. But we saw how price basically took out these lows over here, but we're still looking at price actually going all the way down here. So we still want price to actually get into the stop loss range, get in between here, close a bit of this imbalance, of course, and then we'll place our sell stops in there. So this one is still valid, so I'll still keep an eye on it and wait for price to give us those. And remember now, very important, watch out for the news, So US pairs, just watch out for the news there. Okay, that's about it for today's 3 setups. I am going to do the rest of the setups and send them on to our private advanced signals channel. So I'll check you guys tomorrow. Do check out the bootcamp, check out the Wushu toolbox, and of course our signals. So for today, there's nothing on the market. We're not going to force anything. Happy trading, guys. Cheers.